Right now, technology is moving at a speed that's, well, it's almost hard to comprehend. So we're going to take a little trip, just a couple of years into the future, to 2026. Why? Because we need to get a handle on the massive boom this tech is creating, but also the really serious burdens that are coming right along with it. Ready? Let's get into it.
Okay, I want to start with a number, a huge number, one that kind of frames everything we're about to talk about. $220 trillion. So, what is that number? Well, that's the projected market value by 2030 for the tech that's defining what some analysts are calling the synthetic era. And look, this isn't just about your phone getting a little faster. No way. We're talking about a time when things like AI and robotics are completely rebuilding our world, literally from the ground up. But, moving that fast, it creates a huge tension, right? As we're just rocketing into this new future, you have to ask, what are the real-world costs? What are we leaving in the rearview mirror?
Okay, so that brings us to our first big idea, the Great Acceleration. We're going to break down exactly how all these different technologies are coming together and changing everything at a speed that's frankly unprecedented. So here's the thing you've got to understand. This isn't about just one invention. Not at all. It's about count them, five massive innovation platforms all hitting their peak at the exact same time. You've got AI and robotics, of course. We'll talk a lot more about them. But you've also got huge leaps in energy storage, which, makes all this possible. Then there's public blockchains, creating totally new digital economies, and even multi-omics sequencing, which is changing how we understand life itself. It's not any one of these. It's the combination, the convergence, that's creating this explosion. And if you want to understand the sheer scale of this, just look at the money. The investment in AI right now by the big guys, Google, Meta, Microsoft, it makes the money spent building the early cloud look like pocket change. We're talking hundreds of billions of dollars a year before they're even seeing massive profits from it. Why? Because it's not a choice anymore. It's a strategic necessity to survive. This isn't a new product launch. Make no mistake, this is an arms race. All right, so all that money, what does it actually do? Let's see how it translates into the real world. That's our next section, the AI-powered boom. We're going from these abstract billions of dollars to the actual tools we're going to be using, shifting from simple digital assistants to, our new digital coworkers. The big idea here, the real game changer, is something called agentic AI. This is the next level. Think about it. We've gone from AI that can answer a question, like a search engine, to AI that can actually do things for you. We're talking about systems that can make their own decisions, plan out complex, multi-step tasks, and use all the same digital tools you or I would use to get a job done.
And listen, this isn't just some far-off theory. Lorena Yee from McKinsey put it perfectly. She said, AI agents won't just automate tasks, they will reshape how work gets done. So the future we're heading towards, it isn't about AI replacing people. It's about creating these new hybrid teams, people and their AI coworkers, working together to do things faster and at a scale we've never seen before.
But this revolution isn't just happening on our screens. Nope, it's actually getting a physical body. Get this, Tesla's goal is to produce 1 million of its Optimus humanoid robots every single year. Just let that number sink in for a second. This has officially left the realm of science fiction. That's a factory production target.
Okay, so this all sounds amazing, right? Incredibly powerful. And it is. But there's always a but, isn't there? It forces us to stop and ask a really serious question. What's the true cost of all this?
And that's where we flip the coin over. We've seen the boom, now let's look at the burdens. This section is all about the physical world's limits, because this digital boom has a staggering real-world resource cost. Just look at this chart. It's a hockey stick. In 2023, data centers in the US used about 4.5% of the country's electricity. Okay? But by 2028, and that's just around the corner, that number is projected to triple, a threefold increase in just 5 years. That's a shock to the power grid unlike anything we've ever seen, and it's pretty much all being driven by AI. And if you think that's wild, let's zoom out to the whole planet. By 2035, projections showed that data centers could be sucking up 20%. That's 1/5 of every bit of electricity generated on Earth. I mean, just try to imagine the strain that's going to put on every single country's power grid.
So the burdens are physical, for sure, but they're also digital. Which brings us to the new threat landscape. Because whenever you create powerful tools, you inevitably create powerful new risks.
And here's the harsh truth. The same AI that's driving all this incredible progress,
it's also supercharging crime. We're not just talking about old scams getting better. We're talking about brand new categories of threats. Deepfake fraud is becoming something you can just subscribe to, like Netflix. They're calling it fraud as a service. And ransomware, it's becoming agentic. That means it's an automated attack that can go out, find weak spots, and escalate the attack all by itself with no human pushing the buttons.
And these threats don't stop with criminals. They scale all the way up to the geopolitical level. You know, for decades, most of us thought of technology as this neutral thing that was connecting the world, bringing us all closer. Well, that view is over. It's now a primary weapon of national power. And it's actually driving the world apart. This shift is perfectly captured by this idea of sovereign AI. What does that mean? It means countries are now in a flat-out race to build their own AI infrastructure, right at home. Their own data centers, their own chip factories. The goal? To not have to depend on any of their geopolitical rivals. But the result of everyone doing this is a world that's more divided, a tech ecosystem that's way more fragmented than it used to be.
So, okay, we've got the incredible boom and the terrifying burdens. The big question is, where do we go from here? That's what our final section is about, engineering our future. It's about how we can build solutions for the exact challenges we've just created for ourselves.
Look, let's be honest. The challenges we've talked about, energy, security, building trust, they are massive. But the story doesn't end with the problem, not by a long shot. Because our ability to solve problems, our ingenuity, that's just as powerful. For example, that whole energy crisis thing? To power this AI boom, we obviously need a new source of clean, limitless energy. Well, that's where projects like Helion come into the picture. These guys are literally building the world's first commercial fusion power plants. And their goal is to get that clean energy onto the grid within this decade.
And what about the trust and security problem? Well, to fix that, we have to crack open what they call the AI black box. We need to see how it's thinking. And that's exactly the idea behind something called explainable AI, or XAI for short. These are brand new AI models that are designed from the ground up to make their decisions transparent, so we can actually understand why they do what they do. It's an absolutely critical tool if we want to make sure these systems are fair and hold them accountable.
And it's not just about new tech. It's being paired with a totally new way of thinking. You see, building digital trust, it's not a nice-to-have feature anymore. It's a business-critical asset. That means transparency is no longer optional. And we're finally shifting away from just fixing IT problems after they happen to actually governing these powerful systems before they're even released into the wild.
So there you have it. That's the world of 2026, a world of incredible, mind-blowing promise, and at the same time, profound risk. Ultimately, we, all of us, are the architects of this new world. We're the ones building this unprecedented power. And so the final question, the one that really matters, is this: how are we going to choose to wield it?